All right, so this is my intro into what I'm going to be doing this month for month one of the challenge. So, idea I want to tackle is the Practical Edge newsletter. So, the idea for this newsletter is to make something. It's not really a newsletter. It's like a personal crafted newsletter. So, the Practical Edge, the name kind of comes from wanting to give users practical advice that's not cookie cutter like all newsletters are. So, I think I want to target tech and business, probably more tech because some people don't really care about business. So kind of a tech newsletter delivered to your inbox with custom content. Each person is different. So I laid out this example here. You know, Bill in Bill in finance can get news on AI, and Sally can get deep dives on technological developments related to nursing. Originally these two people would need to be either most likely be subscribed to separate newsletters about these specific topics. But what we can do is actually provide that to both. And why would both of these people want, you know, Bill in finance doesn't need the same information or care about the same information that Sally, in nursing does. Same with Tom. Tom can get workflow hacks related to marketing. You get the point. Um, So the biggest thing is kind of differentiating this from like ChatGPT. If you just say, tell me the most recent tech news related to blah. That sounds good in practice, and it is like something that most people can do. But with the target audience that I have is less technical people that probably wouldn't do that automatically. And as like retro or old as email seems, it's like pretty. Lots of people use email. I mean, I get newsletters all the time. And, another reason I want to start this is I subscribe to a lot of different newsletters about various topics. And, like sometimes I just don't get, a lot of times I'll just close them. I don't really that often read through them. So, it's because like I want the thinking to be pulled out of it for me, right? Like someone who's getting this newsletter should be able to read it and know that it's going to be in the format they like and about stuff that actually matters to them. So that's kind of the idea, and maybe my rebuttal to that conflict, the my rebuttal to that objection. So how I want to do this is basically throughout the week, I want to collect and curate content, so it's not just AI, all AI stuff. There's like core news that I can collect and curate myself. And, stuff that basically is relevant and might, maybe more tailored to finance or maybe more tailored to this and that. And we can kind of fill in the gaps, but take that core content and then basically extrapolate it out in its analysis and how it could apply and impact people. For example, like if someone's interested in AI, well, maybe a brand new model came out and, to our earlier example, one person might be curious how they could help their finance job and someone might be curious how it could help their nursing job. But at the core, it's still the news is the brand new model coming out. Simple onboarding for subscribers. So we need to collect some basic information from them. What's their position or role. That could also be used in marketing as well to kind of target that. We want to collect their interests and industry, and then also like the delivery style. Because some people might just want quick bullet points. Some people might want in-depth deep dives on how it could actually impact them. And then I need to make a system basically for me to curate and collect content throughout the week and tailor it to whoever's receiving. Some big issues and challenges I might see with this. So, not very niche. A lot of people say go niche, go really focused, and I generally believe in that concept. But for something like this, I'm maybe trying to cast it too wide of a net. But the idea itself is kind of to enable to me to go at a wide net. So that's an issue, a challenge I see. There's new newsletter platforms like Substack and Beehive that make sending newsletters really easy. But because of how I'm structuring this, every newsletter is actually different. And those platforms like Beehive and Substack are made for, a one-to-many type newsletter. So I'm going to have to make something kind of from scratch. I'll use some tools and APIs, of course, but I'm not going to be able to rely on a platform that does a lot of heavy lifting there. And then the biggest challenge is going to be content quality, right? Like anything with newsletters, like content quality is the king. And, if it's just AI slop and doesn't sound good and it's not engaging, then that's going to be a real issue, and people, aren't really going to care about the content they get. So that's something I really need to nail. I set up this a flow of kind of how I picture things working. So like we have marketing components, content creation components. These are kind of for me, and then infrastructure components to kind of make it all work. So I want a landing page. A landing page will have the onboarding flow. On the onboarding flow, we can create personalized parameters, which can be combined with the content management system, and basically the marrying of those two creates this customized newsletter that we have in the end. Also just tack on for marketing, I'll make some social accounts to kind of feed into this landing page. And then to manage all these, I need a database, right? To have content managed and have personal parameters. And then we'll have a delivery sequence that basically can take these parameters, craft a newsletter, and then deliver it to people in the right manner, right cadence, different things like that. And then just to make things easier for myself, I can look at a database, but probably have a database converted, convert a lot of the basic stuff into a Google Sheet just for easy, make it easy to look at. I can manipulate it a lot easier than, writing SQL queries. So that's kind of the idea there. Back a napkin math on how I plan to achieve this. Some interesting stuff. I think the vibe I want to go for as far as like branding and marketing is kind of like the professional, it'd be like the secret hack newsletter that the quote unquote smart people use. They use it to get ahead instead of grinding every day and reading 8 hours of news every day. You can just read my newsletter and, be this gentleman speaking, or be ready to lead a meeting, or, maybe it's the early risers. They really just need my newsletter. That's kind of what I want to position myself as, is like a little secret hack to get ahead, for those who are looking for, respect, or trying to advance their careers, trying to get better, etc. So that's the plan, with the practical edge. We're going to see how it goes. I'll have a few content updates, some milestone markers, to keep me up to date with how I'm going. A note, this is, again, with many of the projects that I'm going to be doing in these early months, is these are things I've kind of fiddled around with already a little bit, so I have a bit of a head start, which is good. But, it's the loop's not closed. It's not ready. So that's why we're doing this challenge. We're going to close the loop on this. But that's why you can kind of see, a lot of this is kind of premeditated a bit. I have some marketing materials. So when we're going raw in the future, maybe we won't have as much content, but, maybe give myself some grace and some training wheels in these early months and use the stuff I've already made. All right. Next video will be a milestone.